Daredevil's fascinating spiritual debate peaks when Matt wrestles with his dark side in episode 11. What most people may not know is the show wrote in a classic debate about whether or not God created evil into the episode.
He made each and every one of us with a purpose to be, a reason for being.
I believe so, yes.
Then why did he put the devil in me?
But Father Lantom again is here to expand Matt's black and white thinking. So guys, let's analyze this scene a bit. Did you recognize what the show was doing here? Are you familiar with the big debate the writers were tapping into?
I've heard them talk about it. You know, it's God did create everything and he gave us free will, and we took the free will and decided to use evil. But at the same point, it was Lucifer who turned on God. And did he create evil? God created him. I mean, he had to have known that Lucifer was going to do this. So therefore, I'm stuck in a loop. Drew, you talk.
Yeah. No, you're right. So it's intertwined.
I was just, you pretty much summed it up, man. There's nothing else to go with. Yeah. That's all I can say.
It is intertwined with a debate about whether or not we have free will. And some people believe God created or like predetermined everything, right? And in that sense, he made people evil. So there are denominations within Christianity. I don't exactly know where like the mainstream Catholic Church would sit on this. I'm not in the camp of God made people evil, but it's interesting that Matt is coming from that perspective and Father Lantom is not. He's kind of breaking Matt out of that kind of thinking, saying, no, you're not. God didn't put the devil in you. You have a choice. So that's kind of cool.
Is there a Bible verse that says God knows what your future is? God knows how things are going to turn out? I mean, they say he's all knowing, but does all knowing mean all knowing about the future? Like, you know, I'm all knowing about the TV show The Rookie, but I don't know what's going on after, you know, what the next episode is going to happen, you know? So I was curious. I mean, is there a literal line that says he knows what your future is? He knows what's happened already.
It's funny. I know the answer because I know that it says that. I can't tell you exactly what verse it is, but
well, I mean, you know it's in there.
Yeah, he's seen the past, seen the future. He knows what you're going to choose, but allows you to choose it. So that's kind of what Matt's wrestling with here.
Gotcha.
Then why did he put the devil in me? Why do I feel it in my heart and my soul?
Maybe you're being called to summon the better angels of your nature. Maybe that's the struggle you're feeling deep within you.
And how do you know the angels and the devil inside me aren't the same thing?
I don't. But nothing drives people to the church faster than the thought of the devil snapping at their heels.
So if Lantom's trying to mentor Matt and kind of expand his mind, like what do you think he's trying to get Matt to conclude here?
Basically just a choice that whatever he does is his choice and it's his responsibility and he needs to take, he needs to own up to that. If he goes out and continues to fight and get beat up, it's your choice. You kill somebody, it's your choice. No one's making you do this at all. And I think that's what he's trying to get through to him is everything you do is your decision.
That's one way.
Doug, do you have a differ?
Counter theory.
Well, it's not really counter. It's just something different. Every superhero has, or almost every superhero has their own movie. Solo. But then there's always a big group of, and Matt hasn't gotten that yet. So maybe he's saying what God is trying to do is have you pull in more angels by saying, you know what, you do well by yourself, but you can't bear this burden alone. You've got to find somebody else who can help you with this. And, you know, just because Foggy knows and I know, that's, you know, we can't do anything. We're normal people. Yeah. You need to possibly go out. And I don't know, I can't remember if they emphasized that when Defenders hits, but this takes place after the first Avengers movie. So they know there's other superheroes out there. They know there's a god from Asgard and a rich guy flying around and an old soldier and some green dude and the other two people. But you know, they know there's other people out there enhanced. So maybe he's saying you don't need to do this alone. bearing the burden by yourself. Maybe God wants you to work with other people and, other angels, if you will. Another way to look at it.
Okay.
Possibly.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Is this after Endgame?
No.
This is after the first Avengers.
First Avengers
So
movie.
maybe if he would venture outside of Hell's Kitchen, just go across the street and he could find Tony Stark, who lives in Manhattan. This is all taking place in Manhattan. It's just in the Hell's Kitchen area, which is like, I think 9 city blocks. And yeah, just leave Hell's Kitchen and go find Spider-Man. go get Tony Stark.
Spider-Man wasn't around yet.
Oh yeah, he wasn't there. But Iron Man's right there. He's in New York City. And so when this is the one thing when they keep talking about like, we want to save this city. Do they really want to save the city? Or are they just trying to save that area of Manhattan?
Well, Fisk is going to save the city, but they do have
all
a
of New York City, all 5 boroughs.
Yeah, that is kind of a wide area. They do have a focus on Hell's Kitchen because it seems to be like the worst,
Yeah.
And they use that hell metaphor and the devil of Hell's Kitchen.
I think technically, like Times Square is like right on the border of Hell's Kitchen.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the area. It goes from like Central Park right down to Times Square over to the Hudson.
Oh yeah.
So it's, I think 9th Street South, north south, and then 4 or 5, wide. But
that's interesting because that's like a metaphor for almost America, because we use that area of New York as a symbol of the rest of America in a way,
I was going to say Marvel needs to travel more because everyone's in New York, you know. So during, like Drew said, at this point, maybe Peter hasn't gotten his Spider-Man powers yet, but they were all just in New York. Tony Stark's there. They probably heard about some vigilante that is taking out an entire crime boss family.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't anyone stepping up, And then moving forward, if you think of the TV show Hawkeye, where was Spider-Man during that? That was Fisk. That was, there was a lot going on. Spider-Man had to be right down the street. He hadn't gone to Europe yet.
Yeah, it's almost like they have just taken Hell's Kitchen and it's separate than the rest of New York City.
Yeah.
Like whatever happened in Midtown Manhattan, we don't care about that. Whatever happened, it's Hell's Kitchen. And you're kind of right. If this is going on, you would think that like Iron Man's just going to show up one day and go, I'll help you out. Or where's Captain America? What's he doing right now? So are we getting off topic?
Totally.
Maybe.
Okay, but it's going on with what you said though, which brings up a good point though. Yeah, it brings up a good point that maybe it is. You need to go find other people to help you and don't do this all on your own.
It's twofold. I could see that. Matt is bearing this whole thing by himself. He's blocked out people from his life, thinking he can shoulder this alone, but he can't, clearly. And at the same time, spiritually, he's struggling. He thinks God put this violence that he feels in him, but now he's, Lantom's trying to help him understand, like, he didn't necessarily put all those urges in you. You have a choice about what you do with them. And so he's trying to help him understand that. I think he needs spiritual allies. He needs allies in the real world, and he needs friends. He needs allies in his war against Fisk and crime. But, there is this other piece that he's wrestling with that's right now he's dependent on fighting for some reason. I don't know why. I wonder if he has a guilt complex, but Claire in a scene at the beginning here, and she's going to say, like, I don't think you can stop. Like, she implies that he's maybe addicted to fighting and he can't stop, but he thinks God put that in him. So he's clearly going through a spiritual battle, but he can't figure out what the source is. So he needs some help. Well, this episode is called The Path of the Righteous, and Fisk actually has a journey that kind of parallels Matt here. He has his own struggles.
I don't know how to pray. My father was not a religious man. My mother wanted to be. I think needed to be, but she never quite found it within herself. I'd seen it in movies, watched it on television. I read it in books when I was a child. After I was sent away, I tried to mimic the words, the sentiment. but it was false. It was imitation of faith. So, I can't pray for you. All I can do is make you a promise. One that not even God, if there is such a thing, can prevent me from keeping. The people that did this to you, they will suffer.
So, guys, I have a theory on why Fisk can't pray. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
So probably
No, I don't. No, actually, I don't.
Tell me if you think this is true or not. Probably stemming from years of watching his dad beat his mom. You know, he felt helpless in previous episodes when they showed those childhood flashbacks. I think it's hard for him to pray because he has like a control problem. If you notice, like Vanessa's in the hospital bed and he is trying to arrange getting her out of the city. And then he doesn't even have her feedback yet. So I feel like he feels like he has to control all of these situations. But he can't pray because even though there's nothing he can do here, he feels like he has to be the one to do something. But like to pray in this situation that Vanessa doesn't die from this poison, it's almost like admitting like I'm at my wit's end, there's nothing I can do. But he's already like plotting like how he's going to punish and make the person who did this suffer. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, you could be onto something there. It could be that that's something that's out of his control, you know, and asking for something, you know, asking for help is not his way either. So, yeah, I mean, that could very well be it.
And he very well could have gotten that from being a kid, because one way that he might see it is God didn't help his mom. I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, we sat there for years while he beat on her and yelled at him, and God didn't do anything. I'm not saying that I agree with him. I'm just saying that maybe that's what he's thinking. So it's like praying's a waste of time. I don't do it. I don't know how to do it right. You mentioned that he said he doesn't know how to do it. Well, maybe he thinks he doesn't know how to do it because he tried it as a kid and God never did anything. So he had to do it himself. And maybe that's what God did. Probably not. I don't think God wants people to kill their dads, but
no, but I could see God prompting Fisk to do something about what was happening. But it probably wasn't cut the body up in little pieces, but
that's his mom.
Yeah. And it also could be just he doesn't believe, because one of the lines that he said to her, you know, one promise I'll make to you that even God, if there is one, can't stop me from doing. So, I mean, he just might not even believe there is a God.
Yeah, I guess we don't really know. It's interesting that he's talking about God, but we don't really know exactly, other than that he says he has no faith.
And it's got to be tough. I mean, like you said, he's had a tough life.
Oh, yeah. I think a therapist might say he has boundary issues, but it kind of seems like he does give in a little bit when Vanessa says, I made a choice.
Mm-hmm.
We can't talk about this episode without talking about Karen's path here. Wesley abducts Karen, threatens her, wants her to go out there and undo all the damage she's done against Fisk by saying he's a great guy. She takes the gun off the table that Wesley put there for reasons and kills him. So, yeah, man. First, I want to ask, like, do you think Karen was justified here? I didn't realize this was a controversial point, but apparently it is.
I think, honestly, okay, so it was surprising. Because I guess I didn't really expect that guy to be eliminated from the TV show.
He's such a good character, man, wasn't he?
I thought he was going to stick around for a while, but it gives Karen a whole new dynamic. That when her life is in jeopardy, for one, she'll defend it, but two, that how strong she is in her beliefs. That, you know, she even said, I'm not going to say the things that you want me to say, so you're just going to have to kill me. Like, if you're going to shoot me, because I'm not going to do this. And for her to grab the gun, and she even said, do you think this is the first time I've shot somebody? And then she just boom, 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 boom. So it's like, wow.
Do you think she bluffed? Because he was obviously like a master poker face, but did she bluff there? Or do you think she's really... I mean, you're going to find out a little bit more about her in season 3, but what do you think?
There was one thing, though, because she shot the first time and then she paused. And then she, like, emptied. So I wonder, actually, if when she pulled the trigger if she was even surprised that a bullet came out. You know,
She
like,
probably was.
whoa, I might as well, I might as well empty the clip now, you know? But yeah, I mean, she could have had a little bit of shock, maybe thinking like, the gun's empty. I'm going to pull the trigger to show him that, hey, I really will shoot you. But at the same time, though, why would that guy put a loaded gun down in front of her?
I think he was just cocky enough to believe that she wouldn't do anything. And, you know, again, he probably doesn't know her background. Neither do we. So, you know, right before she pulls the trigger, you think this is the first time I've shot somebody or whatever she said, you know, they probably didn't realize that. And at that moment, she thinks it might be unloaded. She shoots him. And then in that millisecond or those few seconds where she pauses, everything's going through her head. And it's like, well, if I get caught, I'm already going to jail. I better make sure I don't get caught. And
see, that's the thing.
Up.
I don't think that she would have. I think she wiped the prints and she thought really quickly. So it does make you wonder if she's done this before. But I think
it's very possible too.
Yeah, I don't think that she would have been convicted in court because of what happened. Like, this is self-defense. But if you think back to what happened to her in the first episode, you know, when she was in police custody and somebody tried to kill her, I think that she thinks that if she comes forward with what happened, somebody will get to her who's on Fisk's payroll. So that's what I think was going on here. That's why she covers this up. I mean, it could be that because of her past, you know, maybe she thinks that will be held against her in court, which it's not supposed to be. You're supposed to get a jury that doesn't know your past, you know?
But maybe if she goes to court again for something like this, her past could creep up on her.
Yeah.
I think she just feels like she's in danger no matter what she does. Even if they let her go, they're going to be watching her. And, you know, if she causes any more trouble, they're going to eventually just kill her, make her disappear. So she's just kind of in that position now where it's do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I was curious if they were going to make her Elektra.
Oh, that's interesting.
She's like, you think this is the first time I've shot somebody or killed somebody? And it's like, maybe she, but I was like, why is she hiding it? A, B, why is she not helping, you know, in dangerous situations? You know, she's been attacked. They've been attacked. You know, if she were truly Elektra, she would have probably stepped up, I would think. So, but yeah, there was that one moment where I was like, if they're going to make her
first time
Elektra,
you saw it. Yeah.
Hopefully not, but I like her. She didn't.
You just don't think she fits that character. Yeah. Man, I was really bummed though when I first saw this episode because I was like, dude, there's not going to be any more Wesley. I mean, he was such a good bad guy. I can't believe they got rid of him in the first season.
Yeah. Like I said, I did not see that one coming at all.
And I think that's why I did it. You know, you get that cool shock value, and they knew where they were going with the season, with season 2 and onward. So they just.
So we got 2 episodes. I guess. Yeah, 2 episodes left. So I'm really assuming that Fisk is going to be pretty mad.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, in the hospital when he turns to Wesley and he says, and then he changes the subject. What do you think he was going to say there?
I think he was going to say something about, because he says thank you. And I can't remember the whole context, but I think he was going to say something about how much he maybe appreciates, you know, like I appreciate you, or something like that. And he couldn't get it out. So it just comes to thank you.
They seem to be like as close as you could possibly be as 2 friends, you know, even though he works for Fisk. They're clearly like very close. I don't know if you'd call them best friends because you're like, how could you be friends doing what you're doing? But they're just the most trusted associates, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it could even been him about to say, I love you, you know.
That's what I was expecting.
Thanks, you know, something like that. But I don't know if that's a word that's in his vocabulary.
Yeah, maybe that's the point of that scene. Is, you know, they did that for a reason. They don't just write that in the dialogue to, like, every line of the show is calculated.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably just a little Easter egg for the fans.
People like us.
Yeah. Was he going to say, I know, or I love you, or I know something? Can you go get me a coffee? It's probably the third one.
Coffee.
Yeah. He's been up for a while. Probably sailing
Yes,
with
he
her.
really has. He's got to be tired.
Just a little bit of caffeine. He's a big boy. He's going
An
to need a lot.
omelet.
Well, the jury here seems to have exonerated Karen. Are we in agreement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't blame her.
One final question. We've talked about 3 characters. This episode's called The Path of the Righteous. We've talked about Matt, Kieran, and Fisk and their struggles. Which of these characters do you think are actually on the path of the righteous?
I think Matt is. I mean, as much as I don't have a problem with what Karen did, that's not the righteous way. You know, a righteous person would have grabbed the gun and backed out and said, leave me alone, and something like that, or shot him in the kneecap and then ran or something.
See, I almost have different expectations for her, though, because Matt's trained, and as far as we know, she's not. So if, like, she kills him in self-defense, like, if Matt did that, I'd feel different. But I have less expectations of her when she's being threatened by somebody like that, when she doesn't have any kind of, like, defense training. I don't know. What do you think?
It's possible.
Yeah.
So I could still lump her into the path of the righteous category. But I would think the show is asking us to question where she's at.
Well, she's trying to do the right thing, and she's trying to expose evil, and she's trying to do it in a nonviolent way, really. I mean, that's the first time she's been attacked several times. She's been drugged, she's been beaten, and she herself has never committed an act of violence.
Until she came up against Kingpin's man. Maybe she's trying to take over for Kingpin.
No, she's the
If I can get to Kingpin.
Yes.
She's the queen pin.
The queen pin.
She's trying to become the queen pin.
But right. But I mean, I think she's trying to do things the right way. But it doesn't always work out that way.
In the next episode of Daredevil, will Matt finally get his Daredevil suit? How many more people will Karen kill? Will Father Lantom drink another latte? And will Foggy finally get out of bed? Find out on the next episode of Movies Are Spiritual.